I wanted to talk about the Milwaukee Bucks a little bit, my preseason pick to come out of the East and represent the East in the NBA Finals, because I feel like what they've been doing, how much they've been winning, that's all kind of flown under the radar a little bit. And I don't really, well, I do know why. It's because early in the season when the Bucks defense was looking shaky, people were getting their 20-tweet threads off about how Adrian Griffin, the first-year head coach, is clueless. He shouldn't have a job. You know, the whole Terry Stotts thing, that was a little weird. And then people writing blog posts on the Bucks SB Nation blog page about why this Bucks team just looks extremely flawed and doesn't look like a contender. Dame and Giannis aren't running enough pick and roll like we saw in the preseason. Yet here they are nearing the end of December, and the Bucks are 23-8. They've won 8 out of their last 10 games. They lost to the Knicks on Christmas Day, and that loss did kind of expose some of the flaws people are concerned about when it comes to the Bucks, but we got to look at all the positives about the Bucks. Like, for starters, the Bucks are now second in offensive rating per cleaning the glass, and it has to be scary just thinking about the fact, if you're a fan of other contending teams, that the Bucks really aren't running. They've been running it a little bit more recently, but you would think they would be spamming Dame Giannis two-man game, whether it's pick and roll, dribble handoff, or Dame setting off-ball screens for Giannis to free him up. And we just haven't seen as much of it as maybe a lot of people would have expected. But just the fact that the Bucks have a 122.8 or a 121.8, offensive rating per cleaning the glass, while they are still clearly figuring some stuff out on the offensive end, that's got to be scary. I mean, Dame is running more pick and roll with Brook Lopez. It's a pick and pop, or Dame will ask Brook for a screen way outside the three-point line, and Dame will get to the cup. Giannis and Chris Middleton are still running their two-man game. Chris Middleton, by the way, don't look now, but after being on a minutes restriction earlier in the season, his last 10 games, he's been averaging 18, 5 and 5, which is right in line with normal Chris Middleton numbers, and he's shooting 42% from 3 on 5 attempts per game, and just looks like he's getting more and more confidence, more and more minutes. He's been averaging 30 minutes a game over the last 10 games as well, and just the lineup that involves obviously Dame, Giannis, Chris, and Brook, just that four-man group. It's a blistering 126.9 offensive rating and a 111.8 defensive rating, which is still good. And, you know, people haven't really changed their thought process with new information when it comes to the Bucks defense, because since November 3rd, that New York Knicks game, I feel like the Bucks have played the Knicks 500 times already this season, and we're not even to the new year yet. But since that November 3rd game, the Bucks have been going back to that deep drop with Brook Lopez. That's kind of been what the Bucks have been known for the last few years. Last year, old coach Mike Budenholzer obviously changed up his defensive scheme from his usual tactics, and the Bucks were more aggressive defending the three-point line, and it's like, hey, turns out you can do both, defend the rim and not allow three-pointers. And the Bucks profile, their defensive profile in terms of the shots they allow, they're kind of getting back to that. And the last 2 weeks, the defensive rating has been top 10, and since November 3rd, the Bucks have been 14th in defensive rating, with improvement the last few weeks. So it's not like the Bucks are, you know, the terrible defense that we saw very early in the season. There is going to be some issues, like on the Christmas Day game, and there was a few other games as well. Dame is just going to get attacked by other opposing guards. Jalen Brunson was hunting him in that Knicks game. Starting Dame and Malik Beasley, that's also going to cause a lot of defensive issues just in terms of guards being able to get by them and get pressure on the rim. But then that's when you have Brook Lopez and Giannis for. And I just feel like, you know, we'll see how long that holds up defensively, but the offensive benefits, they're just paying off right now, because you got movement shooting with Malik, you got the deep three-point shooting with Dame, and the shot versatility and the ability to get to the line. That's the other sneaky secret with the Bucks as well. They just get to the line like crazy thanks to the combination of Giannis and Damian Lillard. They're 5th in team free throw rate per cleaning the glass. And I just like where the Bucks are at. They're mixing in some athleticism there with Andre Jackson Jr. and Marshawn Beauchamp. Andre Jackson Jr. in those 2 starts, even though it was against Detroit and the Houston Rockets, I liked those starts. He seems to be somebody that could be a potential answer, say in a playoff series where Malik Beasley's just getting torched and the defensive flaws just outweigh the offensive benefits. Maybe Adrian Griffin decides to go with more size and athleticism. That's kind of been one of my things with the Bucks the last few years. As much as I respect Giannis and always respect the Bucks, I felt like they've needed an injection of athleticism from the wing position, as, you know, the core of Brook, Chris Middleton, used to be Drew Holiday, but now Damian Lillard, who is also, you know, in his early 30s. And Giannis, as that core ages, the Bucks do need some more athleticism. I think Marshawn Beauchamp and Andre Jackson Jr., their reps throughout the season, they're going to be critical when it comes to that. And also Chris Middleton, as long as he keeps getting more comfortable and, you know, more healthy and keeps getting more minutes and the restrictions start to lift off even more, the Bucks offense is just going to take off even more than what it is now, which is the scary part, because I feel like they're still, you know, scratching different ceilings of what their offense can be, but it's already this good. I just don't understand why we haven't changed our tune and how we talk about the Bucks. Because yeah, the Bucks do have flaws. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that they are a perfect team and the Celtics are the favorites, well, are considered to be everybody's favorite to come out of the East. But there are still things that the Bucks can do to raise the ceiling of how good this team can be. It's clear that they're getting more comfortable with each other. Adrian Griffin is figuring some stuff out. Again, he's a first-year coach. There's a learning curve there. But they have still won a lot of games. Their profile in terms of their defense is right on track with where it's been the last few years. And they have the profile in terms of offensive rating as a contender. And the defense is sort of rounding out. So we'll see how it goes as the season goes along, but I think more people should be talking about the Bucks and realizing that this team is a bona fide contender, and we haven't been talking about them as such.